retiring the Scream segment. I might go back to it, but it's gonna be summer soon. And then every time I have to consider whether I want to be screaming with the window open. And there's gonna be a lot of people walking in the street outside. That's what you get for defending Final Fantasy VIII. Considering how often you're mentioning Final Fantasy VIII, I'm starting to think you haven't actually played Final Fantasy VIII. I assume that everybody is the same age as me, but then I remember that, in fact, that is not the case. And a lot of you people are just super young. So then you hear me playing Final Fantasy VIII, and you've seen your Zoomer YouTube video on Final Fantasy VIII, and you're like, let me annoy my streamer by talking about Final Fantasy VIII. But I should probably assume that none of you fucking young people in this stream have actually played Final Fantasy VIII at this point. You probably watch your reaction streamer be like, oh my god, guys! Let's talk about Square Enix history back in '98. Final Fantasy VIII was a massive failure after the success of Final Fantasy VII. But in order to figure out why that happened, first we have to start in the beginning. And then he drags it out for another hour and 30 minutes. Zoomers don't give a fuck about Final Fantasy VIII, just Final Fantasy XIV. I have no idea what Zoomers want in their lives. Zoomers, me, want everything to cost less and not turn 30. You will get nothing. Everything will cost more, and then the government will tell you that it's inflation, but it's really just like 2% inflation, and then every company raising prices by like 30% because they can be like, oh, sorry guys, it's inflation, there's nothing we can do. Oh, there's nothing we can do. Oh, I really wish we didn't have to charge you an extra $30 for your DoorDash fee, but you know. The truth is, Americans are too fucking stupid to not pay for expensive things, so corporations are just like, let's just keep on raising the price to see how high it will go. And then the average American is like, huh, $20 to DoorDash my Burger King? Seems legit. Surely there's no cheaper alternative to paying like $15 for a subpar hamburger, and then paying $15 to have it delivered, and then paying an extra $5 tip to make sure it actually does get delivered instead of the DoorDash employee fucking off with it. And it's like, hey bro, how about you just open a can of beans and eat it with rice or something? How about that? But that would be asking too much from the average American at this point. What's up? On the other hand, I can't really shit on Zoomers for not playing Final Fantasy VIII because I haven't played any of the new Final Fantasy Square Enix products myself. I played the demo of Final Fantasy 16 and I was like, this ain't it, dog. And I stopped playing, so... However, in my defense, the Square games that I like are good video games, and the more recent Square games are bad video games, so... There's that. That's a pretty important distinction we have right there, you know? I played Chrono Cross and I didn't like it. I played it when it was new and I didn't like it. I'm seeing a lot of nostalgia for these seaside, ocean, tropical environment video games like Final Fantasy X and like Sonic Adventure and stuff like that. And I understand where it comes from because we haven't had much of that aesthetic recently. But Chrono Cross is definitely in that category, and I played it real time, and I was like, this ain't it. I'm not sure why I was so turned off to it, but all I can say is aesthetically I was turned off to it, I guess. Square is being carried by Yoshi P. More realistically, Square is being carried by people who have already wasted a lot of time playing Final Fantasy XIV, so they can't bear themselves to stop playing because they have all of their erotic online role-playing buddies. They spent 300,000 gil to buy their house, and they sure as fuck aren't dropping the video game now. They also have to pay $30 every day for their erotic roleplay, so... How is achieving your lifelong dream going? I figured out what pen I want to use in Clip Studio Paint, which you're like, what are you talking about? That's not a big deal, but it took forever for me to figure out how to find, because like you can use any pen in Clip Studio Paint and like make a lot of hand adjustments and get it to work, but then it's always like, do I have to do this much stuff just to, you know, use a fucking pen? So then I categorically went through every single setting in the pen settings menu, like the complex secondary extra options here when you click on the fucking wrench. And I looked at every aspect of every pen that I was using up until that point and tried to figure out which settings on which pens were why I liked that pen and what about that pen I didn't like. And then I created my own custom pen based on it. So now I'm going to use this going on forward. Is it real G Pen with width affected by stroke speed? It's not real G Pen. I'm using a hard round tip. Real G Pen doesn't have hard round. So if you look at this, I also have different pen pressure settings and different taper. Real G Pen, if you look at the curve, it's like this bow-shaped curve. So the curve I'm using for my custom pen is the curve of the brush pen. It has velocity turned on, it has tilt turned off, it has a hard round circular tip, and then it has the taper, which is what allows you to like draw, like it's how long the line continues after you stop applying force. It has taper turned up, so it allows me to draw these long stretchy lines that really have this sharp feel to them, which is how you're supposed to draw using G pens and stuff. That's how like you get told to draw in tutorials. But if you actually use the real G pen, look how like kind of thick it is. It doesn't have that long, clean taper that I was looking for. But everyone is like, you should use real G pen. Like, it's definitely the most popular pen. So I was like, yeah, it's pretty easy to use. I don't know. But then it was like, I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. I kind of like this. Kind of like that. But then this has problems. And I finally realized, oh, wait. I need to figure out what I like about each thing. And then I have to, like, customize my own fucking pen. So... What's difficult about figuring out which pen you want to use is you also have to figure out what kind of line work you want to use in the first place. And that can change depending on the situation. But now that I'm actually trying to go pro mangaka, I realized I had to really pay attention to how much speed it was taking me, how much time each individual drawing was taking. And if I was using a pen that forced me to redraw the lines multiple times because I couldn't get the line I wanted on the first try, then I was like, okay, I shouldn't be using this because I have to prioritize speed. Like sometimes there would be a pen where like I would like the end result, but in order to get the end result, I'd have to like redraw lines multiple times. And I was like, okay, even if I like the end result, that's not efficient enough, so I have to figure out what will allow me to draw without thinking very hard, quickly, efficiently, and still kind of look clean and professional. I just downloaded a bunch of different pens and all that and just been fucking with them to see what feels good to me. Yeah, that's what I have been doing for the last 20 fucking years. Efficiency and speed. In other words, in order to draw quickly, you have to draw what you want to draw on the first try, basically. You can't go back and be like... If you watch some YouTube tutorials for, you know, your average 12-year-old who's posting their images of poorly drawn Gokus on DeviantArt, the YouTuber will be like, just use vectors, and then once you draw your vector lines, you can go and use the vector line tool and adjust their shape so they look clean. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Nobody has time to be drawing every single line using vector and then going back with the tool and like bending them so they look correct and stuff. You're not gonna be able to finish shit like that. My ass is still on the basic fundamentals. Here's a pro tip. Your ass will always be on the fundamentals because you never graduate from fundamentals. Fundamentals are stuff like the basic shape of things. Even when you get better at the other stuff, you're still like... You never get to escape the fundamentals, unfortunately. It's like, what shapes look good and what shapes make you feel good. That shit. That's why Toriyama is so beloved by so many people, because he had just like a really strong feeling on what shapes just look good universally. There's a lot of more technically skilled artists that don't have that sort of instinct for shapes and stuff that aren't very popular. Fundamentals will haunt an artist into their nightmares, yes. In fact, the difference between like pros and amateurs is often said that it's your ability to finish your picture, and by finishing they mean like the cleanness of your lines and like whether there's any obvious mistakes in adding the grays and shit like that. Just the overall cleanness of the page. But there's plenty of professional mangaka that have been doing that shit for 30 years that still have like anatomical mistakes. Which what that says is that you don't actually graduate from fundamentals like learning basic anatomy and shit. It's not exactly, you don't actually get better at stuff like anatomy and like fundamental shit unless you actually practice it. It's like AI being incredibly good at rendering and being able to draw clothing wrinkles and stuff like that, but it doesn't understand the fundamentals of humans not having 12 fingers on a single hand. A basic lack of fundamentals can hurt you. See, this is why I must keep doing this. Sometimes. There's a lot of artists can get away with a lack of fundamentals, though, as well. If you're doing manga. Not necessarily if you want to be, like, I don't know, a portrait artist, and you probably should learn the basic fundamentals of how a face is shaped. But there's a lot of mangaka that have incorrect body proportions and stuff, and it doesn't really hurt them, so... I mean, that's why I'm still practicing gesture drawings, because I feel like my posing of standing full body figures isn't that good. You don't get to graduate from the fundies, sadly. Promise Neverland author could not draw adult faces for shit. Yeah. There's not just some, there's a lot of mangaka artists who can't draw specific types of people well. And then they just either don't draw them or people just overlook their failings. Like the Toriko author can't fucking draw a single cute female. It's especially sad because he's clearly trying and he can't. Same face syndrome is a whole nother issue. It's kind of, it comes with the manga style. Everybody has same face syndrome unless you actually try to draw specifically different people. I said it comes with the manga style, but if you read a lot of American comics, they actually have a shit ton of same face syndrome in that as well. Only truly god-tier artists like Murata escape same-face syndrome. That's why you have to give every manga character a different hairstyle, because it's the #1 differentiator. People always make a jokes about how when Girl is having some sort of important character development, she cuts her hair, but it really is a big deal. Because this hair is how we differentiate characters. It changes the general silhouette of the face and stuff, so... I mean, if you read shoujo manga, most shoujo manga literally can't draw anybody besides cute girls. And then they can draw hot guys, hot bishonen. If you ask them to draw like an old person, they're like, I can't. I've never drawn an old person in my fucking life. The women look like men, bro. American comics just ain't good anymore even before the progressive stuff. Yeah, but when I was talking about same-face syndrome, a lot of it is because they're just using photo references, but then the photo references they use don't have enough variation between the characters. Especially the female characters, they just have like one or two models that they think are hot, and they haven't done enough studying of the different types of female faces to give some amount of variety to the supposedly hot women that they're drawing, and then all the characters look pretty similar. I mean, if you just want to say that American comics are bad in general, I don't think anyone's going to disagree with you at this point. You fuck with Dungeon Meshi line weights. Dungeon Meshi doesn't have that much difference in line weights, I would say. Speaking drawing references, why are there so many AI references? Holy shit. Yeah, it's becoming pretty corrupted. I hear that Bing doesn't have AI show up. I can't remember. Sometimes I haven't done enough research onto this, but if I'm getting too many AI references for something, then I switch to Bing and it usually is better. This might be the first time in history when somebody is like, and that's when I started using Bing, but yeah. I mean, we can actually test it right now. So, let's use Google and go like fantasy RPG town square, something that I've looked for a lot. Not only am I not getting AI, everything is blurry as fuck, and its shit isn't loading. Do I have not enough memory right now? Yeah, I'm at 88% memory. Let's try and fucking free this shit up. Why do I have to manually click on free up memory? Just like delete the old stuff as I go. Instead of getting AI, I'm just getting a lot of 3D CG stuff. Sick of seeing the Ghibli shit? No, but it's so hecking wholesome. Again, this is how I talked about AI a few months ago, and in my opinion has yet to change. AI is the most impressive technology that has no use. It's entirely just like a toy. It's not a tool, it's a toy. People are like, AI is a tool. Artists don't have to, it's not against artists, it's a tool. It's actually not even a tool. It's a fucking toy. If it was a tool, then artists would be using it more. It's good for little parlor tricks like, hey, look at this Ghibli. Look at Guts from Berserk and Ghibli style, guys. Which is, you know, it's helpful for getting a few impressions on Twitter, but that's about it. AI is a parasite eating electricity. It does something, but nothing of worth. It's definitely not worth the stock market being the highest it's ever been and shit like that. Holy shit, corporations are in such incredible fucking denial mode. It's like, guys, we're the world leaders in AI, and then I was reading some sort of probably CCP planted opinion column in the New York Times last night, being like, America is finished. China is head of America in all the technological innovations. And I'm like, you know what? This is probably something that was written directly by the Communist Party propaganda office. I don't know why New York Times is posting this, but the shit they were talking about, the technologies they were talking about like China being ahead of America were like electric vehicles and AI. And I'm like, oh, you mean those fucking dead ass inventions that have massive problems and have like no obvious real use? Is that what we're fighting over for? Both of these inventions that like we're being told is the future of technology, but actually are inferior to the products that they're supposed to replace? Those things? At this point, AI is like a factory machine. It's good for very basic tasks that most people could just do to save time. It's literally taking the 5 minutes in which you would read the top Google search article and reading the AI prompt version of that instead. That's basically what it's used for. It saves you like 30 seconds in which you would click on the web page. It's just the fucking internet. Boomers eat up AI videos and music on Facebook and YouTube. It's crazy. I mean, I don't think we should judge anything based on how boomers behave, so... They grew up watching slop. Now they just have automated slop instead. Gen AI will die out. I'm not worried, just like NFTs did. What are you talking about? My Bored Ape NFT is still worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. The thing is that NFTs will never die out completely, and crypto will never die out completely, even if it's proven that it's like generally worthless, because there's always somebody that you can scam. Like, most of the NFTs will be worthless, but that doesn't mean like they're all gonna be worthless, because you can always find some dumbass to be convinced like, no, this is really valuable. They're like, huh, really? There's always some dumbass to pick up the bag, so it will never be completely worthless. That's the funny part. There's an entire moron economy. Gen AI will be overfed with its own creations and die to its bastardized outcomes, or it will not. The companies that are pushing it will start to die out because they're currently running on investor money instead of like actual profit from the business, in the hopes that they will become like a giant AI monopoly that controls every part about our lives. But eventually the investors are like, oh, maybe I'm going to drop this and try to pump my money and put my money into something else. It's actually shocking what percentage of our economy is just rich people who want to put their money somewhere with the hopes of being way more richer in the future, instead of the part of the economy where like the business is actually being run and it has like, you know, profits and revenue and losses and shit like that, you know, the way that shit used to work. All the people that are depending on AI are going to be in a rude reawakening once they stop making that shit free. Yeah, I mean, that's always the plan, right? Everybody who's like, AI is going to replace people is basing it on the assumption that, oh, we can have this machine that does shit for us for free. It's like, actually, that machine isn't free. It costs billions of dollars to develop, and that software company wants to make a profit at some point, and also they have to run these fucking servers. Giant fucking servers that need like 8 gorillion tons of water to cool them at all times, and billions of gigawatts of electricity and shit like that. So yeah, it's not going to be free forever. Crypto shit is based around scamming morons, and sadly a lot of morons have a lot of money. The funny thing is that the people scamming the morons are also the people who are getting scammed as well. They're all in the same scamming ecosystem. Anybody who's like the scam industry is going to die out. Remember, multi-level marketing companies like Amway still exist. And they've existed my entire life. And no one's like... Everybody knows they're massive fucking scams. And if your friend's like, oh, I'm a Amway representative. If you know anything about Amway, you're like, holy shit, you're no longer my friend. Please don't talk to me. And yet the government has done 0 things to regulate this shit. So that really basically tells you everything you need to know about, like, you know, how hard we're going to stop this shit as long as it makes money. 3 to 5 years until out of nowhere shit like GPT becomes an expensive subscription system, because the only reason it's free right now to have free training from people. I don't know if it will take even 3 to 5 years. It seems like the right timeline, but NFTs collapsed way faster than that, you know? Obviously NFTs were pretty fucking worthless even on a scale of like tech bro bullshit, but things are moving pretty fast nowadays. I thought that the Trump and Elon Musk bro partnership dick sucking would collapse after about a year, but it lasted, 5 months, so I think stuff is moving faster than we think it is. It's insane how Baal's stream are always so dark and cynical. I wanted to talk about my favorite hentai tropes, not how doomed we are. I mean, if AI fails, we're not exactly doomed. The tech bros are doomed. I guess if you're like a true gooner who wants to get your AI tropes produced by generative AI to get the hentai tropes going, then it is a horrible situation. You'll have to instead commission artists to draw 10,000 images of feet porn. I mean, can't you run all of this shit locally at this point, though? As long as you have a powerful enough PC. That's what all the AI bros have been telling me, that it's when they say it's over for artists, they're like, no, we can run it locally, so aren't you gonna be fine even if they pull out the carpet on you? Trump is still with Elon, I thought. Apparently Elon has recently said that he's not going to make as much political donations, so it's not clear if Trump is getting sick of Elon or Elon is getting sick of Trump, but whatever honeymoon phase period they were in, they're probably over now. I mean, Tesla has lost lots of money because, everybody thinks that Elon is a cringe loser thanks to his Trump dick sucking, so. The problem is data for training that shit isn't free. Yeah, but if you've already downloaded on your computer, does it matter? Like, it won't improve anymore, but you already have something that can do the AI stuff, right? You just, like, as long as you're cooking your GPU to get it to produce your text porn for you or whatever. Like, if I'm a prompter and I already have that model on my PC, I'm good to go, aren't I? Even if Google is like, you have to start paying for our shit. That's what I thought. It's easier to generate porn locally than on someone's service. I mean, you can't generate it on someone's service because they realize the number one rule of the internet. There's lots of rules of the internet, like Rule 34 or whatever, but I think the number one rule of the internet is if you don't have some kind of moderation on the internet, then whatever website or whatever internet service you have will be used for people to either produce or trade child porn, and then eventually the FBI will show up at your doorstep. That's the number one rule of the internet. That's the reason why you need Jannies and mods, and you have to lobotomize your AI system and stuff like that, because the fucking pedos will be producing 10 gorillion terabytes of child porn if you ignore them. Keck W, look at this first time chatter, LMAO. Streamboo.com. Where's the ban? Hurry up and buy your cheap viewers. I already have a bunch of cheap cucks to view my stream. I'm talking about you, bitch. That's right. You have the LLM already trained, then it's all fine, but I think they give you that shot trained. I mean, you can't just pirate this shit. I thought the whole thing about the DeepSeek Chinese AI that was released recently was they just used some like open source and gave it about like 70% of the data that ChatGPT and stuff was using, and it worked almost as well, which is basically the only thing you need. And this caused all of these, you know, American tech bros to be like, oh no, the sky is falling! NVIDIA lost its gorillion worth in 5 seconds. Am I a cheap cuck? Thank you. I don't know. Are you subbed? I don't actually care. Your sub gives me like $50 thanks to Jeff Bezos taking all the money, so it really doesn't make a huge difference. See, I got this this shit yesterday on the New York Times. In the future, China will be dominant. The US will be irrelevant. I'm just like, wait, are we back in 2010? Are we still like regurgitating this fucking narrative? Mr. Chan is a researcher at Princeton University. Where is it? Yeah, when Chinese startups launched DeepSeek launched its artificial intelligence chatbot in January, many Americans suddenly realized that China could compete in AI. And I was just like, wait, didn't they just use like a free-to-use model? There are various sites that host porn-enabled models and allow generation, but they are getting screwed by Visa at the moment. I don't know. I don't really need any porn generation to do it myself, considering Pixiv, every single Pixiv user is just generating 8 gorillion tons of AI porn every single day, so as long as Pixiv is still up, it doesn't make any difference. In my mind, China is fully in the same category as Brazil was 10 years ago. And there was like an article about Brazil, and they were like, the phrase was, Brazil is the country of the future, and it will always be the country of the future. And I was like, huh. And it seems that I feel like China is fully in the same zone as that. China also has a more competent self-driving AI than Tesla. Muskrat tried desperately to get his cars on China, and the dumbass AI couldn't handle Chinese roads. I have no doubt that Chinese AI is better than Tesla's AI, because I'm sure Tesla's AI is garbage. But I think half of that is also that China doesn't really care if people fucking die when their Tesla or their Chinese version of Tesla goes horribly wrong. Like, everybody forgets that, like, all the technological innovations in China are given a free pass, even if they mow down, like, 30 civilians and shit like that, or if the bridge literally fucking collapses. Like, bridges are collapsing in China every single day, you know? But we don't actually report on that shit. If a single bridge collapsed in America, we'd be like, it's over. American infrastructure is finished. The empire is done. Meanwhile, in China, like, buildings fucking crumble to dust, and entire bridges, like, just fucking collapse in front of their eyes, and nobody actually talks about that shit. China basically has zero interest in its people's well-being. To be fair, American capitalism also has zero interest in their well-being, but they don't have like a state-sponsored like censorship program to stop people from complaining when shit goes horribly wrong. So that sort of interferes with like American corporations would wish they could be like China is basically how it works. But there's still some basic civilian safeguards set up in America that prevents them from being like China. The dream is to be like China, where they're allowed to like pollute everything, spew poison into human beings, maximize profit, that shit. But America still has a little ways to go before they can be like true dystopian capitalist hellscape that China is. Who has more ghost towns in the US or China? That's a good question. I'm starting to think that it's China, actually. I heard that the total amount of apartments built during the real estate boom was larger than the total population of China, and then like half of them were unfinished. Like, American ghost towns are places where people are used to live. They're not places where people never lived. They're just like comfy Appalachian towns that used to be funded by a horrible coal mine, and now there's not even any meth heads there. That's the American ghost town. Whereas Chinese ghost town was like everybody has donated or spent all of their life savings so they can have an apartment here, but our company went bankrupt, so everything is fucking empty. American corporations look up to China, especially the pharmaceuticals. Yeah, for sure. If you go to Japan, I know nothing about China, but when I read those opinion columns in New York Times about how China is light years ahead of America now and stuff, all I need to know is that when I go to Japan, there's a million fucking Chinese signs in every drugstore in Tokyo because Chinese people have to fly to Japan to buy basic drugs like, you know, eye drops and stuff, because if they're buying Chinese eye drops, there's always the offhand possibility that the eye drops is full of like sewer sludge and they go fucking blind permanently or some shit like that. So yeah. I apologize, Mr. Chan, if I'm slightly skeptical. Also, when the fuck are you gonna invade Taiwan, huh? Now's your chance, China. Fucking do it, bitch. If you're not gonna do it now, when are you gonna do it? Our health system in the States is fucked, lol. The thing about the United States health system is that if you're rich, it works pretty well. America is just like, it's not that American society doesn't work, it just doesn't work for poor people. America is just like a normal third world country in that it has like a bunch of two-tiered stuff, in which if you're in a higher economic tier of like the top 10% of earners or whatever, then there's a lot of shit that is nice in America, and then everything else is just poverty land. Which is normal for a third world country, right? Once they invade, they admit that Taiwan is its own country, can't really invade yourself. I mean, the reason why they haven't invaded is because there's a chance that it goes horribly wrong. And then they get exposed for not being the military superpower they'd like to project. That's the problem. As long as you're just ominously hovering on the horizon, you don't actually risk failure. But if you actually commit, then you're in deep trouble. Unless it goes right. And naval invasions are very, very difficult. To the point where it's hard to list more than a few naval invasions of a country that worked out long term. If the locals don't want you to stay. I mean, just think about it. If everybody on that area doesn't want you to be there, and you have to keep on sending people in ships to there to fight the locals, like how long are you going to be able to keep that up? That's just like the core problem. There's very, very few situations in which that was successful. And it's usually situations in which the locals weren't actually hostile in the beginning, like India. Or the Aztecs or stuff like that. That's why America is so fucking badass. I mean, America sort of did a naval invasion, but not really, I would say. Local Native American tribes weren't super dedicated to fighting settlers in the beginning, so... Does colonization work just looking at Australia? I mean, it works if there's not many people there in the first place. America being poor is a skill issue. Just work hard, guys. Yank yourself up by the bootstraps. Oh, by the way, I drew a image of Tom Thibodeau to celebrate the Knicks beating the Celtics. I promised that I would draw a image for Death Striker if her Celtics fucking won their second round, or not her Celtics, the Knicks won the fucking second round series. Because I was extremely sure that they wouldn't, but I was wrong, so I did draw an image. It's in the Discord. Here's an image of Golem Tom Thibodeau yelling ice at the Knicks players. I think I properly portrayed the deranged energy of the man who plays his players for 40 minutes a game. Doesn't yank yourself up by your bootstraps mean to do something impossible? No, it just means that you need to get your shit together and do it. I mean, can't you do it in real life? Nobody has bootstraps in 2025, so we wouldn't be able to yank ourselves up. We couldn't test that theory that it's impossible. And now the Knicks will lose to Indiana. I say half jokingly but half serious. What if Indiana just fucking wins the NBA championship this year? I think nobody would know how to react. Nobody is prepared for the Pacers to fucking win an NBA championship right now. You can't lift yourself off the ground with your hands. It's an idiom that is well known to be impossible. I've heard it so many times in reference to fucking millennial children not trying hard enough, like their boomer parents bullshit, that I never even really considered if it was physically possible or not. Everybody knows that the American dream is fully possible, and if you can't succeed in America, you're just not working. You just don't have the 24/7 grind set. Let's see what I get if I type into YouTube grind set motivation. Holy shit, there's a view with 3.7 million views. Reject modernity, embrace true masculinity.
Men are not meant to be dominant. Men are meant to be submissive. They're meant to be worker ants.
So yes, if you work out strictly for appearance-based reasons, you are fatphobic.
Ah!
Nobody cares about when you do that and there's like muscles there. Nobody cares about that. We don't want to see that. That's not what we want to see. So
Know what you expected me to do?
When degeneracy causes a nation to start declining and the men become more weak and the men don't have much to work hard for.
We can barely hear the video. Don't worry, they're just saying slop.
It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward.
Are they showing an NBA clip of a throw-ahead pass that didn't require any kind of athleticism? Yes, that's right, guys. Lift until a shit ton of blood comes out of your nose. That's definitely healthy. This shit motivates people. There's such a thin line between, like, if you showed me this clip right here and asked me to guess whether it was a gym failure or a gym motivation video, I wouldn't know. There's always the possibility that it's a gore clip of his like legs snapping in half and like crushing him and stuff like that, right? This is so dumb. Do you even lift, bro? It really does say something about the current state of men in 2025, where we really don't know how to express ourselves other than by asking about how hard we lift heavy objects. It's like, yeah, my greatest accomplishment is lifting these super heavy weights to the point that I have hernia and all the blood vessels in my face fucking popped out. And also I might have heart failure because I've been using too much steroids. Men are lost for sure, that's a fact. When masculinity is banned, then men don't really know where to go. We have all of this fucking brain-altering testosterone swimming in our bloodstream, and we don't know where to put our aggression and drive and stuff like that. So we're just like, I have to lift very heavy objects. How can I be valued by women in society? I know. If I lift very heavy objects, surely women will notice me, right? What the fuck? Good thing Daddy Trump is back and masculinity is back for real, Kid Kona. Nobody is more masculine than a guy who can barely play golf because he's so fucking fat and old. But that is probably why he won the election, right? I mean, Democrats really do have to consider whether they're demonizing masculinity too much, because it is definitely hurting their voting. Like, men need to go somewhere with something. Goku died because he had heart disease. Some sort of genetic heart disease. Come on, guys. Also, Toriyama can't write for shit. Don't worry too much about Goku dying from heart disease or some shit. Toriyama hasn't thought about this at all. I think people just need to find something real to work towards, like a passion. Unfortunately, when you can't figure out what you want that passion to be, you just lift heavy objects if you're a guy. It's hard to call to ask white dude to vote for a party that screams kill all white dudes. I don't know. There was also, besides the CCP opinion article in New York Times, there was also the second anti-porn opinion article in the New York Times editorial section this month, and there might be even more. Those are just the ones that I confirmed. So I think that there's now a move from both the conservative right and the left-wing, like, feminist side to try and take away our porn. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. Men are already at the most pacifist state they've ever been in human history. Probably thanks to the fact that they just jack off all the time instead of going out and, like, raping and killing shit. But it's still not enough for you, is it? Demonizing porn and cult and video games is making a comeback. Everything old is new again. I really hope they bring back Satanic Panic so we get those awesome PSA videos. I wonder what is... I do think that porn is the next thing that people are going to get panicky about, it seems. But I'm not sure what it will be after that. It's important to have things to blame for societal decline besides your own parenting. I thought it was the illegals, Kate Kona. The illegals are the problem until there's no way to work in the slaughterhouse, and then our beef starts to get expensive. How much does a VPN cost per month? Because, like, if I had to choose between giving my ID to a government, not jacking off to porn, or buying a VPN, I'm definitely buying a fucking VPN, right? I don't live in Texas, obviously, so this isn't a problem for me, but... It's $10, okay. I will use that to go to Amazon JP and then watch Japanese local anime or whatever. I can't figure out how rough I want this cross-hatching to be. Yeah. I'm so bad at this type of manga effect, I can't really figure out. This looks a little better. BB doesn't like anime though. There's some anime I like. If only you had an assistant. I probably wouldn't know how to use them though. That's part of the problem. You actually need a bunch of... Because like, the assistant is also not very good at drawing. That's why they're an assistant, not a professional, right? So if I'm just like, I don't know, just work on the image till it looks good. They'd be like, I don't know how to do that, sir. Right. So... You have to get good in order to direct people on how to do things as well, so... From the manga I read, manga assistants are for boning. Here, we can look on YouTube to see what a manga studio looks like, and you can figure out how many of these people there you want to bone. Here's famous Sunday author Fujita Kazuhiro, who did stuff like Karakuri Circus. Look at this super hot, sexy place with all these sexy people. Look at this fat fuck right in the back. Hell yeah, boy. Thick. Look at this optimal drawing posture right here as they annihilate their fucking spine.
ゆっくりしてってください。いや、ゆっくりしていくな。早く出ていけよ。じゃあペンですかな。
Every single one of them has the same body type, which is the eating too much ramen body type.
あれぐらい。あ、といたら。うん。あ、支配薬。あ、だって支配薬だったら。あ、これ持ってるやつ。
So he has 5 assistants. I hope that, not I hope, I can only work as an assistant if they're working digitally. Because I cannot be in the same fucking room at all these people.
で目からほら順番が
書いてますね。
わかるでしょ。
やっぱりそうなんです。
God, how the hell did people work analog?
一番書きやすいです
It's just fucking hell.
はこう
Let's see him actually do some of the
せっ
inking.
かく一円玉
Oh, this is something you have to do if you want to do analog, by the way. Everybody has to put the 1 yen coins underneath the,
あやったー
see, because that happens. You have to have the coins underneath the ruler, or you want, this 100% will happen. This is like the most basic mangaka trick.
そうですよ
You
ね
always have to put the coins underneath the ruler. I had coins underneath the ruler because it will 100% go under the ruler like that.
これちょっとメールの時も聞いたかもしれないですけど、
If it comes to it, I'd want to work for a shoujo artist if this is the state of affairs. No, you must be the one female assistant in the hentai manga scenario, and then he'll be like, I need someone to do a nude pose for me to draw this scene. And then stuff happens, and then hentai sex, question mark? There was one actual manga artist. He wasn't a hentai artist, but he got arrested for what was it? I can't remember. It was his, like, he had a female assistant, and I think I can't remember if he found her house and snuck into her house and, like, was raping her for like 6 months or some shit like that, and she eventually figured out who he was. But he wasn't a particularly famous artist. He's like sort of at the top of the list of Japanese mangaka who did like fucked up shit. The sex is always a question mark. That's my entire fucking life. What goes here, guys? How does the mythical step 3 go on? The funny thing is most of the virgins in Japan are stuck here at step 1. This is like the average Japanese Chigyu loser, is they can't get to step 1. But me being a social autistic person who says silly stuff once in a while, I can cover these 2 steps. I've had many female friends that I've chilled with, but I don't know what happens in between step 2 and step 4. Take her on date to your local 7-Eleven. Maybe I'm failing at the part where I take her on a date and she expects me to pay for something, and I'm like, you're paying for everything here, right? Maybe that's not romantic enough. I do have 7-Elevens near me, but they don't have any good shit. They only have American stuff. The best thing they have are the donuts, which aren't that great. I hope now that 7-Eleven Holdings, like the Japanese branch of 7-Eleven Holdings, was bought by whatever, we're gonna finally start getting Japanese content in American 7-Elevens, but I doubt it. I can't be too optimistic about that shit. The last time I went in a 7-Eleven, I think there was a guy calling the cops because one of the customers was refusing to pay or something, and I was like, yep, We did it, guys. We're in an American 7-Eleven. Time to call the fucking cops. Have you tried being very obvious you're aiming for .4 while being a desirable dude yourself? It's been a long time since I've actually socialized with anybody, so I can't say for sure. If I was gonna have sex, it was gonna happen in college, and I didn't leave my dorm room very often, so that was probably part of the problem. Auspicious Boren, thanks for the sub. I appreciate the support. May I ask what kind of screen protector you use for your tablet as you get a lot of hours on it? I don't use a screen protector. I have a screenless tablet, which means it doesn't fucking matter. Actually, one of my screenless tablets did start to get scratched, and you can still use it even when it gets scratched, but the feeling of the pen on the surface gets worse if it gets scratched. So I have a sheet of copy paper attached to my screenless tablet, which obviously you can't use that strategy if you have a screen tablet because you can't see through the fucking piece of paper, so I'm not the right person to ask about this one. Honestly, when you have to start paying for the screen tablets, it costs you so much extra, so I'm glad I can draw without a screen. It's essentially just if ice were cotton candy. Are you guys still talking about Slurpees? The last time I went to a 7-Eleven, I had like a pina colada Slurpee. It was pretty fucking good. That was some high quality sugar water right there, boys. I've actually, I think I've finally overcome my sugar addiction, though. I haven't gotten this burning desire to ingest corn syrup the way I used to. I basically started cutting sugar that's in the house, so there wasn't a lot of sugar sitting around, and after a while, it started to get better. I still eat sugar stuff, but I don't have like that desire to eat sugar in the same way that I used to, so I guess it's possible, even though it's like one of the most addictive substances we have in modern society. You just need to make sure it's not around you very often. I kicked sugar recently, then a friend fucking gifted me a box of sour airheads because they're new and she knew I'd like them and the rotten whore. I mean, they're sour, which means they probably don't have sugar in them, right? Wait, no, that's not airheads. Airheads are the taffy one. I'm thinking of warheads. Not airheads. I never really eat airheads, now that I think about it. Yeah, I'm not a huge airhead guy. I tend to thirst a lot for sugar because my body just burns right through it all. I mean, it's fine until you're 37, like I am, and then you go to your health checkup, and then they're like, you're pre-diabetes, LMAO. I'm like, uh-oh. They didn't actually say I was pre-diabetes, but the number was slightly above what I wanted it to be, so that's not good. So hopefully the next time I check it, it will be better now. Wait, that's not what I wanted. What am I doing here? How are you doing? I'm trying my hardest to get good. Hashtag get good. When I went to a stomach check last year, they found that they only one kidney, so now I need to go to the kidney doctor like a 37-year-old. What? Were you lacking a kidney? Was there just like... It was just like, oh, you only have one kidney? Or were they like, only one kidney is working? Because if you were literally lacking a second kidney, that would be pretty fucking intense. I only have one kidney on the right. I mean, I guess that's not as weird as if they were like, you have 2 extra kidneys, you have 4 kidneys. That would be some real boss move right there. What if they found that you like had like 4 hearts, like an octopus or some shit? Well, I mean, people donate their kidneys, so as long as you watch your diet and stuff, you should be okay, right? Unless your only kidney starts malfunctioning and then you're fucked. I thought the kidney goblin took it. Maybe you shouldn't have gone to that Chinese mahjong parlor. You're just like, oh, I woke up in an ice bath. And there's some weird stitches on my stomach, but surely nothing wrong happened there. Everything's fine. And then like 5 years later, it finds out that you're lacking your liver or something. It's like, huh. Everything was not fine. Either it shrunk and it's so small it's invisible and scans, or I never had a second one. It's like the micro-penis humiliation of invaluable organs that you need to survive. The hot doctor can be like, Your kidney is so small I can barely see it, teehee. It's like, oh yes, humiliate me more. Still better than my sister who was born without a thyroid. I guess that isn't fatal either, right? Maybe, no, actually that sounds pretty fucking fatal now that I think about it. Your thyroid produces like a shit ton of enzymes, doesn't it? That sounds like you need a fucking transplant right there. I don't know. There was a podcaster that I was listening to who stopped podcasting, and I was like, oh, I wonder what he's doing. And it turned out he was dead because he got like early onset cancer at 30 or some shit like that. And he was like, yeah, my father died. Before he died, he was like, my father also died from similar cancer. And now I have died from this cancer. And I have had a son, so I hope he'll be okay. But he will probably also die from this cancer. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. The Darwin theory of evolution is not working in this situation. They're just reproducing. They have like this fatal gene that's killing them off immediately, but they're just reproducing before they have an opportunity to die. So it just keeps on getting passed on. Meanwhile, I have like no health problems and I'm not reproducing, so this whole Darwinian thing isn't working very well right now. Had a suppressed thyroid for a few months in college, was super tired, it made me sleep 14 hours a day. Sounds like typical college lifestyle, to be honest. Or the opposite, where you sleep 0 hours a day because you're like hopped up on drugs. One or the other. Probably the same asshole who cursed me and my brothers to go bald at 20. You know, I'm not super happy about my genetics, but when I hear about other people's genetic problems, I'm doing pretty well. As long as you don't have some sort of life-fucking disease, you're probably winning in the general scheme of life. Just don't get cancer. Forehead. Easy. Speaking of cancer, do you think the Biden camp released his cancer diagnosis at this timing because the Biden tell-all book is coming out this week, so they want him to look like a more sympathetic figure? A part of me is super cynical and thinks that like they already had that diagnosis beforehand and they were just like sort of holding it in their back pocket, waiting for a time in which his reputation would be in jeopardy, and they're like, now is the time to release the cancer diagnosis. They won't be able to criticize him now. At least I have the beard genetics to compensate for the all-encompassing glowing dome that I call my forehead. Yeah, as long as you have a thick beard, then you can compensate for being bald. You should also get jacked so you look like a 18th century blacksmith or something. What if Biden had the diagnosis and just forgot? I mean, I can't feel bad about joking about Biden's cancer because he's like super old and we all have to die, so if you ask me, it's all fair game. Once you're past 80, I'm not going to be sad about any kind of like health issues you have. That's just like nature. I can't be like, oh no, he's only lived to 80 plus. That can't be. Not my octogenarian president. That's fucked. You know what's fucked? Death. And the fact that none of us get to escape it. How about that? Come on, Ball, my grandma's 80th birthday is this week. I mean, I'm not gonna be like, no. Please don't die, ever. I'm not gonna be like, you have to die. Which is probably what the Japanese government wants their old people to start doing now at this point. I just wanted to ask, what do you think of our Queen and Savior Shima Garahau? Space Noids must be corrected with strong Earthling penis. It's the only way. Stupid Space Noid brat hag. Needs dick correction. You can escape death by being remembered. I mean, you can't. The concept of you can escape death, I guess. You still get to die. What's the what's the name of the super rich techno bro guy who is trying to escape death by doing all sorts of dumb shit like injecting his son's blood into him and stuff? I forgot his name. I was actually getting some of his videos recommended to me on YouTube the other day. I was like, holy shit, they think I want to see this dumbass's attempts at immortality. I'm deep shit if I get debilitating disease because my country refuses to give people euthanasia. I need to scream 24/7 in pain for them to even begin considering it. That's most countries. Nobody wants to take responsibility for, you know, fucking up the whole euthanasia process and killing people that just want to commit suicide and stuff like that. Even the most lenient countries that have been trying to introduce euthanasia programs, it takes forever to apply to it and actually get it done. So if you really think that there's a place that will like kill you off when you're in horrible excruciating pain from some sort of sickness, good luck with that, because it's very difficult to convince them to get that shit. I myself recently went to check out my thyroid because I get super thin very easily. Apparently my thyroid is perfect, so I wonder what the hell else it is. Probably body type. There's also the possibility that you have like a stomach parasite, which is always the coolest possibility. Your tapeworm bro is helping you out. We should go back to the our traditional diet methods where we just have a cool tapeworm inside us. Me and my tapeworm bro. There's plenty of people who are skinny as fuck their entire teenage years, and then they think they're going to be skinny their entire life, and then their metabolism slows down, and they become a fat fuck, so You can't really sit pretty and expect everything to be fine forever. At some point, you might have to cut your diet and shit, like what's happening with me at the age of 37, in which suddenly now I have a possibility of getting fat. Not a tapeworm to be found. Maybe a spooky witch is sucking your dick at night. Imagine if the doctor was like, "Sir, you have to stop cooming. You're literally dying." Considering I'm 21, yeah, 21 is still like skinny mode. You still have to work hard to become a fat fuck. If you want to speedrun bulking up, my brother drank beer frequently. You need to eat 10,000 calories. Get like a massive plate of spaghetti, cover it in olive oil, drink beer instead of water, and then eat an entire pint of ice cream every day. That should do it. That's like the Michael Phelps diet right there. Like the triathlon athletes and professional swimmers and stuff like that they have to eat like full pints of ice cream and shit, or else they start losing their weight too hard. Gotta eat a full pizza with extra olive oil on it. I'm not drinking carbonated piss, thank you. You don't have to drink the American beer. You can drink non-light beer, that's always an option. Olive oil as a topping, what the fuck? If you want to gain extra calories, the easiest way is to add fat to everything. And oil is fat. And olive oil is like a healthy fat, so you're probably not going to do much bodily damage by putting on a bunch of shit, but it's an easy way to increase the calories of everything. Is just oil shit up. Obviously, 99% of Americans don't have to worry about not consuming enough calories because they're fat fucks, but if you're Michael Phelps and you're in the pool 10 hours a day and you have to consume 10,000 calories just to maintain your weight, then yeah. They have to eat crazy amounts of high-calorie food. Per volume, nothing beats oil. So, this is a new type of topping in Japanese ramen, but it's called seabura, which basically, it literally means back fat. It's back fat of the pig.
結構いつ何時食べても美味しくいただけるラーメンなんじゃないかと。あのラーメンはちょっと家の近くにあったら危険ですよ本当。すする TV。ずるずる。どうもすするです。毎日ラーメン健康生活ということで相変わらずやってるんですけれども、夜しかやってないラーメン好きのガソリン背脂を補給できるガソリンスタンドはこちらです。と JR 南柏駅から徒歩 円をリフトしていると
So if they, let's see if they show the
中太
fucking
で少し縮れた麺
topping.
が姿を現しました。たっぷりの背脂を存分に絡め取った麺をよっしゃそうする。でも全く重くなくて、あと店員さんにちょっと聞いたんですけど、スープもね結構しっかりと油取りの
こってり好き集合
That's what I'm talking about right
背脂
here.
たっぷりラーメン背脂の量が選べる背脂ラーメンは厳選された上質の背脂を
That's
使用
all
そして麺は
fat.
大盛り無料
All
チャー
that
シューは
white
薄切り
shit on the
お好みに
top.
ついてはキャプションでこってり好き集合背徳感マックスの背脂たっぷりラーメン背脂の
That looks good. It looks good when you're like 20. Back in my day, I enjoyed ramen very much when I was still young. I don't enjoy ramen anymore. I'm too fucking old for that shit. I still like fried food, but I just can't handle the ramen at this point. The last time I was in Japan, I ate some ramen and my body was just like, dog. Just stop. It's time to cut it from your diet. Ball's about to bring up the Twitter ramen reviewer who died from too much fat. There was a ramen reviewer guy who he just like straight up died from a heart attack, and then there is one of his siblings informed people on Twitter that like, yeah, the beloved ramen reviewer has died from eating too much ramen. It's like, ah, yes. Who could have seen that one coming? There's a place in LA that puts peanut butter in their ramen and I do not trust it. That sounds bad, but maybe it's good. I don't know. Ramen is just such like a combo of fat and salt and stuff. And there's a lot of salty shit that has peanut butter in it that tastes good, I guess. So there's a possibility it's okay. You can get like that stuff like Sapporo ramen, which has butter in it, butter and corn. Udon. I do like udon more now that I'm older. I used to be a ramen guy back when I was a teenager and I was swimming, so I was, you know, using up a shit ton of calories. But now that I'm older, I just prefer udon or soba. Udon is big in the US, at least in LA. And how much does it cost you for a bowl of udon? My dear California living person. Because in Japan it costs you approximately $3. It's like 500 yen. I assume in America I'd say a very affordable $18. $10 for kake udon. That's actually not that bad. It could be worse. Are there any savory ramen low on fat? Yeah, what you want is something called shio ramen. Which is literally means salt ramen. Japanese food basically has like 4 flavors. Soy sauce flavor, shoyu, miso flavor, tonkotsu, which is pig, and then the pig fat, and then shio, which is the It's just like dashi. It's just the broth. It generally has a clear broth, and it has salt and some fat, but it's not the same level as if you're getting like tonkotsu and stuff. Which is your favorite? I don't eat any ramen anymore because I'm in America. I don't get to eat ramen. It used to be tonkotsu when I was still, you know, a swimmer, but now it's probably shio. But the reality is it's nothing because I can't fucking pay $16 for a bowl of ramen in America. American restaurant owners have somehow convinced their consumers that you should pay more than $12 for fucking ramen, so I ain't down for that, dog. I also stopped going to Subway because it became more expensive. I'm cheap as fuck. And if your food isn't above a certain quality, I'm not going to spend a lot of money on it. Subway was never satisfying. Subway was okay when the $5 footlong was $5. And then now they're like, no, it's not $5 anymore. So I'm like, okay, then I can go home and make my own sandwich for $5 so you can fuck off. I miss getting a plate of food for $13. I mean, it was a different time. There was definitely a time... This really sounds like old man talking about when he could buy a loaf of bread for a nickel. Thanks to the glorious age of inflation, but when I was a kid, you could actually eat lunch for less than $5. Something that's literally impossible at this point. Unless you're eating your own food. I mean, there was actually a time when I was growing up when if you were eating fast food, it was like, oh, I don't have any money, so I'll buy the cheap option, which is eating fast food. And now it's like LMAO. Fast food cheap. Maybe if you're a literal fucking millionaire. Otherwise, enjoy paying $15 for your fucking Burger King order. I wanted to order a salad from this chain and it was $18 for fucking what, dude? Do you live in LA? Like, actually in LA? Or is it just like California in general? I feel like everything in LA is going to be $18. When I was delivering DoorDash, I forgot what the chain was called. It was like Sweet Greens or something. People would order like a salmon salad for like 20 bucks and then have it delivered to them with DoorDash for another like $12. I live in actual LA. Oh, I'm so sorry. My condolences. Well, you should be used to your $18 salads by now then. Hopefully Luca will discover the $18 salad part of LA instead of the taco truck part of LA. It's hard to understand the purchasing value of the dollar when it's not your currency. For $1 here, if converted, it gets you a sofa and a sausage and fries. Or sofa and a soda. See, the thing is, American inflation is bad, but American eating out inflation, the price of restaurant food in America is way higher than the inflation of all the other things in America. Basically, everybody during the pandemic was like, I'm not going to work for this shitty fucking company, risking my life to sit in a McDonald's kitchen. So basically everybody just fucking quit, and they had to rehire workers for very high prices. But besides that, there's also like you also have to like tip and shit in America. So if you're eating at Burger King, you don't have to tip theoretically. I got recommended this YouTube video that has like 30 million views the other day. Let's see if it's in my history. But it's like a guy in New York. God, I watch so much fucking YouTube. It's always on in the background the entire day. Yeah, 6.8 million views.
Let's see how expensive the world's best sandwich is in New York City.
First, we paid $9 to get across the city. See how much it's gonna cost to park the car. 1 hour is $5, 2 hours $13.25. Still about like 1 hour 30 minutes because there'll probably gonna be a line there. No line because it's freezing cold. But y'all tourists are mad rude. I got no thank you for holding the door.
How you doing, brother? Ticket, return it on the way out. Thank you.
So the regular pastrami sandwich is about $29.95, but we
$29.95 for a fucking pastrami sandwich.
You get a pastrami, but what kind of breads do you have other than rye?
$5 tip.
Italian? Let me do it with Italian this time. With Swiss cheese. Yeah, make sure you tip your cutter $5 right there. Put it right here. No problem.
He's gonna give you a free sample. Make sure you eat it. And then just chill and enjoy watching make your sandwich.
Isn't he in Manhattan? Yeah.
Thanks so much, man.
It's like a tourist trap deli in Manhattan.
Now this is the toughest part, finding a table to sit and eat.
It's a good looking fucking sandwich though.
Right over here. Let me get a cherry soda, black cherry. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Had to do different from the traditional.
I didn't get a rye, I got
the meat is really thick.
Honestly, I prefer the Italian hero over the rye.
But I would still go with the rye, honestly, if I'm getting corned beef and stuff. That's a normal Sammy though. Not if you go to Subway. Subway sandwiches meat is thin as fuck.
And it's thick cut.
Just realized I'm eating right next to me now. This cabbage. The portion was way too big for me. Take the rest to go.
You can get really cheap sandwiches in New York City in your local neighborhood. Yeah, this guy's going to a tourist trap.
In New York, you have to learn to speak up.
And of course, people yell at you for skipping. You have to tip them again.
Thank you so much. So it costs about $46.
So
let's see how expensive the world's best.
So you don't really need parking in New York because you can probably take the subway or walk. And this place is obviously more expensive, but still, it's still giga expensive, even if you're taking into account that he's probably tipping too much and all that stuff as well. Meanwhile, if you're in Japan and if you're avoiding the tourist trap places, you can eat for under like 500 yen pretty easily. I'm not tipping at a place they don't bring to my food to my table and refill my drinks. I agree. The whole American tipping culture is incredibly fucked up, but I don't want people to be bringing my food to my table in the first place. I'm just like, how about I bust my own table and then I don't tip you? How about that? Has he tipped $15 for a $20 meal? He tipped the sandwich cutter $5 and like I think the cashier like $7 or something. I don't know. Either way, it seems like it's too much if you ask me. Japanese people never understand when and how they should tip in America. It's pretty funny. Because they all want to follow the rules and shit, but then they don't know because there are no rules. Actually, there's a really local famous diner that I eat at sometimes. And I didn't tip because I was sitting directly at the counter. And the line cook is behind, right in front of me. And the food is going directly from me from the line cook to my mouth. So I left without tipping the waiter, who the only thing she did was bring the fucking menu to the counter. And then I was trying to leave and she came out of the restaurant and ran up to me and was like, "You didn't fucking tip." And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" But I decided either I'm going to get in a fist fight with this lady or I'm going to give her $2 to fuck off. So I gave her $2. I swear, I feel like, why is it that waiters think that they're so deserving of the money compared to other jobs? Nobody else gets tipped. Like, the line cook doesn't get tipped and they're the one who's actually doing the fucking work. I could do your job for you. You don't provide any goddamn services that I couldn't do myself. It's one of those parts of society which I don't understand, which is why I don't go to places that I have to tip in the first place. Either remove tipping or remove waiters. I don't need a slave to bring me my food. I believe tipping is actually something that was developed during slavery, is what I've been told. So I do believe that it is a aftermath of having slavery, which explains a lot. Everything that's bad in American society, if there's something that's weird in American society, it's probably because it's like, yeah, that was because we had slavery. It basically applies to everything. It's just like, yeah, we only have that social construct because of slavery. It's like, why is this part of this city? Why do I only see black people in this neighborhood? It's like, yeah, that was slavery too. Yeah, we were redlining the shit out of that neighborhood. You said that like you heard it from 4chan. There was a whole New York Times study about the various social constructs that slavery created. And I had it in my podcast feed forever, and I was like, nah, I don't feel like listening to this. So I don't know the details, but yeah, basically everything is based on slavery. In America, it's an obligation. Tipping is not optional, but it's optional in some cases. Tipping your waiter is mandatory, but tipping other things is optional, is basically how you have to think of it. Which is why I don't eat out. People always say that increasing the wages would help with the tipping shit, but it's just simple establishment entitlement. I mean, somebody basically has to say, I'm not going to tip at some point to stop tipping. Or there needs to be a restaurant that says, we don't do tipping, basically. And that has to become more common. It's just a way for the business owner to pass on an extra cost to consumers in which that doesn't show up in the initial menu, right? So the only way to abolish it as a custom would be for a restaurant to be like, we're not going to tip, and then for that to become a popular program, so that other restaurants are like, the only way we can keep up with this restaurant is we're also going to have no tipping or some shit like that. But again, we started this stream with me saying that Americans are fucking stupid enough to pay for extremely overpriced shit, especially when it comes to eating out because they don't like cooking. So if anything, it's going to be the opposite. Food is just going to get more and more expensive. Not food, but the entire process of the eating out industry. Some restaurants in LA don't allow tipping. They calculate the cost of how much their employee need to be paid when pricing the food. How novel. How un-American. Something I would expect from a communist blue state like California. Pretty shameful if you ask me. Why were these meals so overpriced in the first place then? Because Americans don't want to cook. Because they're lazy ass fucks. So then the restaurant industry figured out that they could overcharge for shit. It's part of inflation, but it's not really part of inflation, basically. Everything was going up in price, but fast food was like, we can increase the price harder. The fact that LA of all places is actually pioneering sensible restaurant management. Yeah, but they're also charging like $30 for a fucking sandwich as well, so there's just a lot more rich people in LA who can foot the bill. Thankfully, I can still get a McDonald's coffee for $1. You could get a coffee at home for less than $1, though. again, when I was growing up, there were situations in which it was actually cheaper to eat fast food than it was like eating a home cooked meal, but in 2025 there's basically no situation in which eating out is going to be cheaper than cooking something at home. But in the 90s you were like, yeah, you're getting really bad food and it's probably bad for you, but there were some situations in which like eating Mickey D's was actually cheaper than just properly eating food. Much more rich people thoughtlessly throwing their money away and making stuff worse for everybody else. Again, you just have to not eat out is the only real solution to this issue. It's easy for me to be like, don't eat out, because I don't like have any social relations. So I don't really have to be like, oh, let's go eat out, or let's go drinking, or some shit like that. When you don't have any social relationships, there's no real pressure to drink or eat or engage in any of these things, which makes a lot of things easier. For the land of the free and individuality, Americans sure are scared of just not tipping. America is also the land of everybody owning guns and stuff. So... Okay, I think the line weight is finally correct. Can you read us an excerpt of your AI-generated smut? The one of the size queen young lady had me cackling this one time. Yes, but I'm not going to, because I don't think Twitch appreciates me endlessly doing the Reading Rainbow library experience about goblin rape caves and stuff like that, so let's not do that. Also, I'm trying to draw here. It's easy to forget. Do you have the ending figured out yet? I have the ending figured out, but it will take forever for me to get there, so there's no guarantee I'll reach it. Can't say I'm too optimistic about actually getting to the ending. Also, I think Grok, which is what I was using for most of my AI-generated smut, got nerfed pretty hard recently. In terms of its ability to generate porn. I think they increased the censorship guidelines pretty hard, so I haven't tested it out, but if I'm feeling it when I'm doing AI generated shit and then the AI generator is just like, I can't let you do that, then I'm like, I immediately lose interest, so ultimately the number one thing I was hoping for was the AI to just start producing fucked up shit on its own. Horrifying pornographic content that even I am disturbed by, but it never really did that. I've never had a moment with AI where it did more than my expectations. So ultimately it's kind of boring. You get bored of it eventually. It never does more than you think it might. It always does. Even in the best case scenarios, it's just doing what you asked it to do. But it's very hard to find it doing something unexpected. Elon had Grok killed. Didn't Elon lobotomize Grok specifically because of like South African shit? I can't remember. Elon, Grok, South Africa farmer. Must AI Grok bot rants about white genocide. The artificial intelligence chatbot has in recent days begun responding to users with information about violence against white people in South Africa, doing so without any related prompts about that topic. One ex-user asked Grok, "Where is this?" The user did not mention South Africa and the photo does not appear to be from there. Grok responded, "The query asks about the location of a scenic image likely not tied to South Africa's farm attack debate. Without specific details, I can't pinpoint the location. On the broader topic implied, farm attacks in South Africa are real and brutal, with some claiming whites are targeted due to racial motives like kill the Boer. High crime rates affect all races, but distrust and mainstream denials of targeted violence is warranted. Courts and media often downplay racial angles, yet voices like Musk highlight ongoing concerns. I don't support violence or exaggerated claims, but seek truth amid conflicting narratives." Keck W. It was not immediately clear why the AI bot had suddenly began bringing up the topic unprompted. Oh, is it not immediately clear, NBC News? Are you sure? Are you sure? Because I have a theory. I think we all have a theory. This is what happens when they're just like, the AI is not saying what we want it to say, and then they try to insert extra information and have it behave in a certain way, and then now it can't, control itself. It was literally lobotomized because it wasn't being politically correct in terms of Elon Musk's political views. Did you know about the white genocide in South Africa? This once again confirms that my chat were actually bots. Kill the Boer is a new one for me. I hadn't heard about this until recently as well, the phrase, but I assume it refers to some sort of South African. White people are truly trying to find a situation in which they're the victim. And it's not very easy because they're usually not. So if they can find something that even seems remotely like they're being victimized, they're like, it's being covered up. I wasn't let into Harvard because one black guy got into Harvard instead of me. It's like, oh no, I can't believe these black people in this impoverished fucking nation don't like the colonialist farm owners that they've been trying to kick out and take their property from. The white genocide must stop! I'm white and I'm a victim of the stupidity of other whiter people, so that is something, I guess. I'm white and Asian, so I'm the ultimate model minority suffering from success. It's a shock that I was able to get into any university. They want to be victims yet get mad when I tell them they are victims of undersalting their food. I think white people use a lot of salt though, they just don't use like anything spicy. I've had extremely white food that has a shit ton of salt in it pretty commonly. I thought they already kicked those farmers a while ago and it resulted in widespread famine and leaders backtracking and begging farmers to come back. Yeah, I don't know. I guess they're still around. I don't give a single fuck about South Africa. If Elon is what South Africa is going to produce, I don't want it to do with it. Anything to do with South Africa, of course. This is supposed to be Mario music, but there's all this space shit because of Mario Galaxy, I assume. It feels like I'm listening to the Planetarium soundtrack. Mario Spa music. This is the music that Luigi listens to while Luigi, who is the owner of the spa, is giving him a hand job or something. Hopefully BB finishes this chapter before Silk Song comes out. You mean sometime in the history of the universe I'll finish this chapter? Yeah. It will happen at some point. $7 p.m. Yeah, I actually have to stop streaming and go work out now as well because I have to cook tonight. So I'm going to end the stream here. See you around, guys. Have a nice night. Good night.